And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
All right, everybody, welcome in. A huge edition of TigerBait Live tonight. We got a lot to discuss. Obviously, transfer portal is the headliner, the headlining topic of tonight's show. Comings and goings. Garrett Nussmeier, of course, as expected, announced, I guess, about 45 minutes ago that he was returning to LSU, and that was a huge, I guess, remaining or huge for him to return. You would have been in a really bad way had he not. So that's a huge positive for Brian Kelly in the program. And, of course, the portal opened up on the 9th. We've now had, 72 hours of it. And Suggs got in just a little while ago for LSU. And so what is that, 15 in the portal?
I think so.
15, I believe, in the portal now for LSU. We're going to talk about that as well as some of the visits. Brian Kelly talked on the teleconference for the Baylor Texas Bowl earlier today that he had 3 dinners last night, Geno's, Jubin's, and what was the other one, buddy? I'm not sure where the third restaurant was. Hopefully he's just eating salads and appetizers. But we're going to talk about that and talk about that and much more tonight. And we're going to get to all your questions. We're going to go for a solid hour. Welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike. Hope everybody's starting to feel the Christmas spirit. We've got the vest on tonight, getting a little chillier. And Mike and I have been working hard. Look, Mike has been working the phones. I've had to deal with some stuff with the girlfriend getting in a car wreck, and that's been crazy. So be safe, be careful. Everybody is trying to get to every place. I
was on Segan Lane an hour and a half ago, and man, if I'm negative tonight more than usual, you can thank Segan Lane for part of it.
By the way, I didn't bring your Christmas present. I've got a Christmas present, more than one, but got a hat for him that says glass half full. So that's one of my presents for you. But look, folks, I think we start off by saying, let me clear up a couple things from last week. I am not one that is not realizing that you have to pay players. This is full pay for play that we've gone on. But I think the question is, how do you ascertain what this guy is worth? And at what point do you stop getting in the bidding? And it's tougher more than ever, but you can call me an old fat bastard or whatever. I know you've got to pay, but the key is you can't overpay. Now, Mike and I were talking about the fact that when you bring in a big-time player who's going to command a couple of million a year, and believe it or not, $1.5, $2 million a year, those numbers are certainly becoming more commonplace. What does that do to your overall roster? And my point is that it is not easy, but I'll ask you right out of the gate. He said he was going to bring in 10, 11, or 12. You mentioned today you hadn't seen any difference makers, so we'll wait to see. Also, what's going on right now, SEC Network is going to be releasing the actual schedule at 6 o'clock. So as soon as the LSU schedule, folks, comes out, please send it over to Mike so we can go through it, because we'll be monitoring that as well. But hey, 2 weeks away from Christmas, and we won't be here on Christmas night, but we certainly, from the bottom of our hearts, wish you and yours a happy, safe, and blessed Christmas season.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's just one more thing I've got to do now. I forgot about the schedule tonight. So, all right, let's dive into some comments. Y'all do me a favor, hit that like button if you're enjoying the show, and spread the word that we're live. Share it on your social media. Text it out, the link out to your buddies that are LSU fans as well. Todd Davis, Nuss is back as expected. He had to go Tigers. Spectrum Well Care. Nuss's video was great. Yeah, they did a good job on that. The Woodland also got in too, didn't he? Or has that happened yet? PJ Woodland.
I did not hear that he got in the portal.
I think he might have.
Okay, I have not heard.
We both just rolled in, fighting traffic. You check that out. All right. Suggs is a loss to Spectrum Well Care. I'm not sure it is. I think LSU's brought in enough linemen, and I think that might have been a deal where NIL dollars, that amount might not have been what he wanted. Woodlands is not in the portal, says Travis Wilburn.
No,
I know
I haven't gotten verification on
there's
that.
some rumors out there that he is going to, but we'll see. Todd Davis, LSU ranked 31st in football, not likely to finish in the top 25. Yeah, I was talking about that with Jock earlier today. Even if they win the bowl game, can they get in the top 25? I tend to think maybe.
But that's irrelevant at this point. I mean, everybody knows it was a disappointing season. Year 3, expected more. And so whether you're 27th, 25th, 31st, I think that's irrelevant. Now you're moving forward. We'll talk a little bit about some of these guys. Mike, pretty much a new offensive line for this bowl game. We don't know what's going to happen with Emory Jones and DJ Chester, even if he plays center in Mubinga, but no Will Campbell. He was asked today on the teleconference about Garrett Dellinger. There's no reason for him to play. He's just coming off an injury. No reason for him to play. Miles Frazier, no reason for him to play. So you're going to have 3 or 4. And
but Swinson's saying he's going to play.
Yeah, well, some of them are going to play and some of them aren't. But
I mean, if you're Swinson's parent, would you tell him to play? I wouldn't.
Well, you talked to Swinson's dad at practice.
Right, and if I'm his dad, I'm telling him no.
He might want to put another skin for his draft spot. And look,
what he's going? I thought he's already playing the Senior Bowl.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a personal decision. And Josh Williams, I will bet you $20 Josh Williams will play in that game. So some of them are going to play. We don't know the exact number. They start practice tomorrow. Have we verified if BK's meet with the media on Friday?
Not yet. Not yet.
So a lot going on, and it is a fluid situation. And you know what? It seems crazy over here, but Mike, everybody is going through this. Everybody is having mass. And this, I'm going to agree with Lane Kiffin. This is really dumb to open up the portal December 9th, where you have a ton of departures right before the bowl game. We know they don't care about the bowl games, but I think that they could have done it a little bit differently.
Yeah, but then when do you do it?
Well, you could have done it probably first weekend of January.
And then all the staff changes happen in January. I mean,
yeah,
it's like it's pick your poison.
Yeah. It's not easy right now.
Yep. Chance Babin, what percentage of each recruiting class stays for a year, 2 years, et cetera? It seems like the portal makes more sense in a way. Dr. Butler says, let's win the Houston Bowl.
Good to hear from you, Dr. Butler. He is an icon. And look, we talked about this with Georgia and Texas. Carson Beck got hurt. Don't know about his availability, but I'm hearing from inside people that he's kind of been the Lambo guy with all the money and all the NIL deals. He threw 3 interceptions a couple games back to back to back. Gunnar Stockton came in here and did a great job. And so that'll be interesting to see him. But as we know, only 3 SEC teams. We may have a chance to talk about whether they got it right with SMU getting in versus Alabama. But when it all cleared out, I thought that if you didn't put SMU in, then you are going to have some problems with championship games, because SMU could have stayed and said, we're not playing in the bowl game, in the championship game, and stayed at number 8 or 9 versus playing and losing. And so that was pretty monumental what they did with the committee last Sunday.
Y'all do me a favor. Give me your top 2 positions that you feel are the biggest critical need for LSU in the portal. Put your top 2 in the chat, and we're going to go through a bunch of them. Obviously, a lot of attention on cornerback Jakeem Jackson that Corey Raymond signed at Florida. A lot of scuttlebutt for probably a week or so that that one was highly likely for LSU. Does that solve LSU's problems? How good is he? Get conflicting reports coming out of Gainesville. Arkansas tight end Luke Haas. Boy, that would be a nice addition. And, of course, will help the Purdue defensive end. Needs serious defensive end edge help. Right now you've got Kalaj Cobbins, who has put on some size, but he's an unknown. Gabriel Relaford, a lot to be excited about there. But that's all you got. There's no depth. You got Shankland coming in as a true freshman. BK, when asked about who was ready to contribute early, most likely, and he didn't hold back. And I think that's the difference. I think most coaches would not have done what he did last week and look at the list and start naming guys like that. Because you know why? They're pros now. And so he gave you the names. Well, he didn't mention Schenker because I think he's going to need some time. So I think wide receiver, edge, corner, safety.
No, there's
a couple
the
of
key
tight
right
ends.
there. You talk about, look, I will continue to support Kevin Peoples on the edge and Bo Davis on the D tackle. I think that's as good a combo as you have on the D-line coaching, and they're going to make those guys better. But it does take time. We saw that with Savion Jones, the kind of year he had. We saw that with Braden Swinson. But they have got to appreciably kick up a notch or two.
But the problem is
safety.
The problem is it's not just saying that they're great coaches. They've only got 2 players to work with.
How many DNs did they play this year?
But they have no depth.
How many DNs did they play this year?
I don't know.
2. And this is another thing we're going to address.
Okay, so
no, I'm just saying.
You're pretty confident no one will ever get hurt next season.
No, I'm just saying.
That was a great run.
They did not do a good job playing backups. You know who played left tackle all year? Will Campbell, who by the way, Will is the award winner of the best blocker in the SEC. So kudos to big number 66 with the circled 7. He's been a class act. We know he's going to have a great future. But my point, Mike, is this. It's like clay. And Bo Davis and Kevin Peoples are going to shape that clay. You take Suggs. Suggs was hurt. He was late getting in, but he was playing pretty good football at the end. But they paid him a dollar amount to come over in the portal. He was the last guy after we all freaked out about no D tackles coming from the portal. But guess what? He probably wanted some more money. They recruited over him. Now, how good are those D tackles that comes in? We don't know. But I like Bo Davis and Kevin Peoples keep coaching them up.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna keep my powder dry. I have a propensity to look at the list of what's in the portal and know how many schools are after each one of these guys and how many schools these kids are visiting and knowing how many home runs that LSU needs. And this is so pivotal for Brian Kelly.
I agree with that. They have got to make.
You just can't sign anybody and think that how good a great a coach is, and they're going to be good.
Okay, but let's go back as we get spicy. Did you not freak out last year at this time about D tackle and DN? Do we need to put that tape in? Do we need to put that tape in?
We're talking about an 8-4 season.
Do we need to put that tape in that you said there were no D tackles and there was no edge? You said that last year at this time.
Right, and they were serviceable at best this year.
Braden Swinson made a second-team All-SEC. That's pretty.
But you look at that All-SEC, that's not going to get it done.
I'm just saying.
You need double or triple that if you're going to be a championship team.
Okay, well, you said at the time coaching doesn't make a difference.
No, it does.
I think it makes a damn big difference.
You have to have players, buddy. You just can't, sign a bunch of honorable mention all district kids just because you got a Hall of Fame coach coaching them. All right, let's dive in here some more of these. Wide receivers, safeties, offensive line says Aubrey. Todd Davis needs tight ends. They need 2 of them.
Yeah.
Blaine Smith says defensive tackle. Believe it or not, I think with the youth that they've got and I don't know if that is as imperative as you think. If there's a great one you can get at a good price, would I go out and pay crazy money for? Heck, who's the great defensive tackle in the portal right now?
But they're not even looking at defensive tackle.
I know there's not a.
You got 96 McKinley coming back, Ahmad Bro, and Jacoby and Jewelry with all the recruits.
There's no great ones in there anyways.
Well, they all wanted big money last year.
There's no Walter Nolan in there right now.
Yeah, safety is an important part of the equation. And look, let's just hope none of us have to watch the safety play we've seen for the last couple of years. None of us.
Yeah. Barry Barbier, if they don't do something about this transfer portal crap, it will destroy college football. It's bad enough with NIL. I'll tell you what, guys, I see people listing guys. Isn't there a guy in the portal from here or there? I'm sick of watching X all day long. I mean, there is a bunch of kids in the portal, and it's who's in, who's not, who's coming in for visits. You have to have 4 or 5 guys watching it all day long.
Well, and look, this is what the NFL does. They have what they call a capologist. And so I don't know if that's Austin Thomas or Frank or BK or all three of them, but you've got to have a capologist. And BK has said, and you asked him a couple of weeks ago, they're going to be very aggressive in the portal, but there's X amount of dollars and you're trying to get 12 players. That's the biggest question I have, Mike. At what point do you determine, okay, that's it, we're not going any higher? At what point do you determine, I need that guy right there, let's go, whatever it takes to get him? And the game has changed so much because of NIL and transfer.
Well, this is where I think people get frustrated.
Yeah.
And then look, some of this frustration that's there right now, you're going to look back, you could be looking back in a couple of weeks from now and saying, boy, that was unwarranted. Look how good they did, right?
But you never know until they play.
But you're hearing things right now where like, well, this particular position isn't very good in the portal right now. We're also seeing where the very good players to great players are all staying at their respective schools and they're not getting in the portal. Okay. Well, that goes with, all right, well, if that great player from Ohio State or Alabama or Georgia got in the portal, who's a starter and all conference selection, how much would you have had to pay for him? And if you think that amounts too much money, then what are you going to pay more for them versus the high school kid that you walked away from? And I think they're slowly realizing, you know what, we might be better off. Because when you look at what's in the portal now, you probably, if you're going to overpay and maybe reach, you probably should have done it with the high school kid. Because once you have them on campus, you're more likely to keep them next year and the year after if they're already in your uniform than you are trying to get them after the fact.
Well, and this is why we say that they have a team, not a program anymore. Everything is year to year. And when you let the agents and you let the handlers and you let these kids that have never played at LSU have leverage and dictate the conversation and the dollars, it's problematic. Oh, by the way, wouldn't that be a story if Bill Belichick, now we know he's feeling young, 70 plus years old with a 24-year-old girlfriend. So, he feels like, when you have a 24 with that kind of age difference, he feels like he can pick up a truck. But I ask you, is he a fit at North Carolina and how quickly will he get acclimated? He can tell those guys, I know what it takes to get to the pros, but he's got to hire a staff. He wants his son to come in.
Can you imagine North Carolina is a great academic school. Do you know, and I don't even know who their dollar people are, but I guarantee you they got them. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine their alumni base with that hire? The NIL dollars that could be flowing in.
Well, and they still got to work all the details, but it looks like he's going to take it. So Saban quits and goes to ESPN doing a fantastic job, but Belichick still has.
If I'm a high school recruit, my ears are perked up, and if certainly the parents of those kids.
But then again, you got to ask, how long is he going to be there? And this is what it comes down to.
I didn't realize how old he was. I was shocked when they told me.
72.
I thought he was 76.
Oh, I don't know. But anyway. Bottom line is that will be a blockbuster story if he gets back into the game of college football.
72. You're right.
72. So, look, it is semi-pro. It is NFL light, whatever you want to call it. But we'll see. And all we're trying to say here is that it is not easy. But the head man did say we're going to be very aggressive in the portal. And so, don't you agree with this?
Yeah, I mean,
but they're going to announce 3 or 4 at one time. They don't announce them one.
Yeah, H-Town Creole says LSU doesn't have money to be aggressive. Let's be real; they are not bidding on the big dogs.
He said they've got money.
Yeah,
but it's how you spend it.
And believe me, if they don't have money, they're still going to say they're not going to admit publicly that they're running thin. I was told today by a donor that in one sport at LSU. They're finding out that just within the last year, the price has gone up 25 to 40% for NIL dollars. It's the crazy season right now.
And let's just call it the way it is. Jay Johnson is getting everybody he wants in the portal. So I don't know if he's got a baseball sugar daddy or if he's doing a better job and less competition. But right now, it is really tough to ascertain who deserves what money and what kind of player they will evolve into. It's a crapshoot right now. This is a pretty nervous time for Tiger fans. Good news today with Nuss. As soon as you get the schedule with LSU, please send it over to Mike. And I got a question for everybody out there. And I haven't even broached this with you since this is your show, but I want to know if we did a little deal with TigerBait T-shirts, would you be interested in that for 2025? I've got a guy that wants to work with Mike.
I twice a year I start diving into that, and then I'll move on to something else.
But I mean, let's see if all these viewers would want a T-shirt with TigerBait.
All right, let's we got to pay some bills here. We're 20 minutes in, and let's hear from Mike and Alex over at Pride Roofing, and there they are.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
But you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer at TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
There you go, 855-PRIDE-16. Say TigerBait. You're going to get TigerBait Premium free for a year. Free roof inspection. You're not obligated to buy anything. Say TigerBait, and you'll get TigerBait Premium free for a year. Of course, based in Hammond. Mike Faraday, a Broadmoor High and LSU grad. Brand new location here in Baton Rouge, Houma, New Orleans, and really big on the North Shore as well. They've got you covered, residential or commercial, metal roofs. Pride Roofing, the absolute best in Louisiana.
Hey, they're very good people to work with. They deliver what they tell you they're going to deliver. The roof over your head is just as important as the work over theirs. Of course, we know they're big community partners. Metal roofs, once they had the acquisition, Mike, with Crown Metals, changed the roofing business. Give them an opportunity. Always a free roofing inspection. If you hear it from me, you hear it from Mike. Mike Faraday goes and personally deals with you. And don't forget that $150 guarantee, Mike. I'll let you talk about how he makes it right from a money standpoint.
Yeah, someone said some of the schedule's already been out. We know some of the dates already. It was the SEC schedule that you got to plug in. We know most of the games already. It's the whole SEC slate that was coming out tonight.
So anyway, if you've got a bid on company letterhead, he will beat that bid by $150 if you tell him Mike Scarborough sent you over from TigerBait.
Absolutely. All right. All right, let's dive in. Mick McGrath, we're going to end up with 3 or 4 schools with all the recruits and everyone else is going to lose interest. I don't think that's the case. I think what's going to happen is that you have to recalibrate what you're used to seeing. You have to recalibrate. I think gone's are the days where you're talking about opening season rosters in the NFL, and LSU's got 54 or 56 players on NFL rosters, or having record numbers of first and second round draft picks in any particular year. I don't think schools are going to be that deep anymore. Are we going to see where your SEC champion has 2 losses and barely has 5 or 6 players on first and second teams? There's just no depth. And so there's a deal where at the end of the year, the team that had the least amount of injuries is the ones that's the most successful, because kids aren't going to wait anymore. The second teamer wants to play right now, and he's going to leave, and he's not willing to wait an additional year.
Well, here's what I'll say to that, Nick. It makes sense on paper, but did Texas A&M spend about $30 million a couple years ago? Did they?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell happened to that season? Went in the toilet. Did Ole Miss and Ohio State spend more than anybody in the transfer portal last year? Ole Miss pushed all their chips in the middle of the poker table, got Walter Nolan and all those defensive studs, and they still choked themselves to a 9-3 record. Ohio State still choked against Michigan. So it's not just, I understand what they're saying, like baseball, Soto just got $760 million or $65 million for 15 years. The Yankees always tried to have the most money. You know when the last time the Yankees won a World Series? 2009. So just because you spend the most money does not
You
necessarily.
have to have great talent evaluation, but let's also look at Louisiana. We talk about some of these years in the last 4 or 5 where there's hardly any of them left on the roster. What's going on with some of the Louisiana prospects? Is there a problem with Louisiana high school football?
Yeah, good point. And that's what we were talking about with wide receivers.
I mean, we talked about it earlier today. I had one coach say that I was heard through Brian that someone in New Orleans, a coach there, told him that basically they're playing flag football in Louisiana high school these days. And the linemen are not being developed. I mean, because we keep wondering, you've gone this amount of time without your marquee wide receivers, how many years now in the state of Louisiana, and a lot of misses. The athletes, you could sleepwalk your way to getting a 3-star from the Bayou parishes and end up with an all SEC DB. It's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
It's.
But you do feel like 25 next year is going to be a better year, right? In the state? Or is it
26. Next year's 26.
I know, but it would be the calendar 25-year football season, class of 26.
Looks kind of close.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of similar, but there's a whole lot.
But my point is that just because you don't spend the most money does not mean that you're going to have the championship. Otherwise, Texas A&M, and what happened? They didn't win diddly squat, and all those guys left. Ohio State, I don't think they're going to even.
Are you trying to make people feel better if LSU strikes out in the portal?
Well, no. I'm just saying, just because you spend the most money does not equate.
No, you have to evaluate and get it right.
Did Lane Kiffin push all the chips in and spend all that money on defensive players? He still lost to Kentucky, Ole Miss, and even though he beat Georgia.
And that said, they're still having some of the best years in the history of Ole Miss football.
Well,
right?
Do you want to be Ole Miss or you want to be LSU?
No, I don't. But in some ways, it has paid off for them. But they think they should be in the SEC championship game, and they're not there.
Yeah. Well, bottom line is that this is the pickle that we're talking about. Right there sums up the pickle.
Here it is.
You have to, as a coach, you have to understand and ascertain, is this guy worth the money, and is he going to evolve, or am I going to pay him and then he's a bust? It's not easy right now.
Bayou Prep, who's one of my best friends, and he's a high school coach, and I talked to him about this subject about an hour ago. And I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to out him, but he says, I'm a coach in Louisiana and I coach linemen. It's 7-on-7 with equipment. Nobody develops linemen. Just go play AAU football. Yeah. So look, the high school coaches know it too.
And the proliferation of 7-on-7 adds part of that to equation.
Mm-hmm. Ryan Stadler, it's sick to say this or swallow the words, but Ole Miss does seem to be a little more organized as an organization in the way they run their collective. Look,
they did.
Look, there's no denying the fact that if you're an Ole Miss fan, while you're might not be in Atlanta, they are experiencing some of their best years, anyways, by Ole Miss standards, with Lane Kiffin as their coach. Now they might be thinking they should be over the hump more than they are. But I'd have to go back and look at winning percentages. Before him, would it be Cutcliffe? How
many championships has Lane Kiffin won in his career?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying.
I'm just asking. How many?
Buddy, by Ole Miss standards, he's doing well.
How many championships has Lane Kiffin won?
0.
Okay. Thank you.
But you do admit.
There's no doubt. They're doing a better job in the NIL and the portal than LSU, but it is not equated to wins on the football.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. They're not in the playoffs this year. If you're an Ole Miss fan, you ought to be pissed off all the money you spent, and he couldn't get you to the CFP 12.
Barry Barber, think about this. We pay college coaches big bucks to develop players with the transfer portal. That's really not possible. This model has to change. I'm going to tell you what, Barry, if I was a younger man, and I thought I wanted to go into coaching, I'd get my degree and I would immediately head to the pros. I would skip college altogether. Absolutely.
And the crazy thing to add in here is that TV ratings are still through the roof. So we bitch about the portal when we bitch about the money, and we bitch about the fact that these are mercenary players who want to get paid before they lift a finger, and yet people are still watching. Now, I forgot who it was, but made a good point. If you only have 3 or 4 teams and they win at the same – look, Texas is paying more money. A&M paying more money. Oregon paying more money. Miami, all of these teams – who
was a report a couple of days ago that said LSU was 4th in the country with their NIL?
Well, I saw another one that said they were 7th, but
do you believe they have $21 million to spend?
I don't know. That's the thing that's on BK. I'll tell you what.
And is that $21 million because you have 10.5 that you didn't use on Underwood?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but this is a very important.
So if that's the case, if you got $21 million, let me give you the names of who you better get. You better get the kid from Purdue. You got Jakeem Jackson, most likely. Haas from Arkansas. That's one tight end. Kid from Oklahoma.
Safety from Purdue.
Edge from Nebraska. Jacoby Matthews.
You told me that you think that he's going to end up here.
Maybe.
And by the way, real quick.
I mean, I don't know how much you have to pay for Jacoby. You're probably getting him for a good price now.
What do you think they're going to do with quarterback, Mike? Are they going to add a quarterback between now and the season?
I don't know.
Because once again, you're back. If Nuss would get banged up, you've got no depth. You talked about no depth. This is the problematic issue that everybody is having because there's no loyalty and everybody's leaving.
See, here's the thing. All these little, they're major positions. But I think the mood of the fan base, the trajectory of the program, the mindset of the fan base about the future of LSU football would be totally different right now if you hadn't lost Bryce Underwood. That was just everything.
I agree with that. So we're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the Natty. I've got a present for Mike that's going to say that, folks. I won't give him his Christmas present early, but look.
Right now, aggressive. I'm worried that aggressive in the portal means you got your nose pressed up against the glass and you're window shopping and you're fogging up the window, and that's all you're getting.
Well, look, it is a very important time here in the next couple of weeks because catastrophe syndrome and
actually that's not it. You because of I don't know that this is going to be considered a great portal. You know, how would you compare the top 20 players in the portal this year to last year? Is it about the same? Is it a little less? You know, are you because of how you view the quality? Are you window shopping at Target, or are you window shopping it on Rodeo Drive?
Probably somewhere in between.
Yeah. But the overall gist of where I've been is that you need to be shopping on Rodeo Drive, and you need to be loading up a pickup truck full of high-end goods. Okay. Let's hear from our buddies over at Genesis of Lafayette.
Got a brand new attitude, like bing bang boom on a pink balloon, like I just do what I wanna do, like ooh, brand new.
There you go, folks. Genesis of Lafayette, just absolutely fantastic. Premier luxury dealership, the finest cars, SUVs in the region, coupled with the best service anywhere. Genesis of Lafayette has a huge inventory of new and certified pre-owned Genesis vehicles. For a truly first-class automotive experience, is Genesis of Lafayette, 6600 Johnson Street, right off Broussard. Here to exceed your expectations is Genesis of Lafayette. You can shop online at genesisoflafayette.com or call them at 877-856-2961. And please tell them TigerBait sent you. Go test drive one of the Genesis vehicles. Ask for my buddy Blake Mesh. Trust me, great vehicles, and they've got great low. I mean, the finance rates right now are 2 point something. That's incredible what Genesis Bank is offering the customers at Genesis. All right, let's see. Y'all do me a favor. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the show. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button.
Okay, when we get a break, I'll give you the actual schedule that has been released for LSU.
Go ahead.
Here we go at Clemson on August the 30th. I have seen a lot of people on a lot of sites on the internet saying, man, cancel that game right now. I disagree. These are two programs that both claim Death Valley. This is what we want. People are tired of
Where they have 7 on one side and 8 on the other returning at Clemson.
But that's going to be a tough game. But my point is that I think that's a great home and home. So you open up the season at Clemson, and BK is taking receipts on all those people who went to Vegas and spent a ton of money.
All right, would you give us the SEC? Is there anything?
Well, no, I'm going to go through the schedule. September 6th, second week, is hosting Louisiana Tech. Week 3, you're hosting Florida. Week 4, you're hosting Southeastern. Week 5, you're at Ole Miss. You get an open date on week 6. You host Carolina on October 11th. You're at Vandy October 18th. You host A&M on October 25th. You have an open date. Once again, that open date before Bama. And then at Alabama, November 8th, hosting Arkansas, hosting Western Kentucky, and then at Oklahoma on November 29th.
So there's no different SEC schools?
No, same schools, but once again, at home this year, Florida in week 3, Carolina in October 11th, Texas A&M and Arkansas on the road this year, at Ole Miss, at Vandy, at Bama, at Oklahoma.
So you can avenge your loss to Sunbelt Billy week 3.
Yeah. Hey, look, let's give Billy Napier credit. I was not a believer, but he had a hell of a turnaround.
Yeah, Aaron, all good. No back-to-back road games. Is that the way he reads it? That was a backbreaker. That was a part of the start of the 3-game losing streak.
Correct. No back-to-back road games. That is correct.
That's big.
But once again, Mike, LSU, Oklahoma, the final game. Do you see that develop into a rivalry, or does that get changed when you go with the 26 schedule? And they're still working on that.
You talking about Oklahoma?
Yeah, at the end of the year. You like them playing at the end of the year?
I do. I mean, certainly, sooner or later, Oklahoma's got to win one and make it one. I mean, LSU's but I think Oklahoma's going to be improved next year.
A lot of Tiger fans will make that trip to Norman,
you
Oklahoma.
You saw what Oklahoma did to Alabama at home.
Yeah, right. That's going to be a tough game.
Yep. Jonathan Meyer, just because people hate the new system doesn't mean that hate college football. No, nobody's.
That's what we just said. The ratings are still through the roof.
I think people are disillusioned, and I mean, is the passion still there for it?
Sure.
I think it's killing some of the passion with a lot of people. I don't think, I know it is. DA, Mike, all the guys you just named that can come in and start and make a difference. And if they have the 21 million, then why does it take them so long and mess around and don't? Well, I mean, look, you're dealing with a lot of these. They have agents. They're taking visits. You offer them a contract and they leave here and they go to Auburn for a visit and they get to say, well, LSU's offering me this. I mean, it's a process.
I think the 21 million is not just football. I think that includes every sport.
Okay.
Is that what they had? And don't forget, we got revenue sharing coming in here in another year. So maybe they can get some control right now. It is OOFC, out of freaking control with college football. And you're just going to have to take your patience pills and hope that BK and his staff, he said it, Austin Thomas, him and Frank are the main three, but you need to get a capologist to keep this thing under control.
All right, guys. And all this ties in right now to what I'm about to read to you. Bayou Traditions is partnered up with TigerBait.com, and their partnership started with us with Preston's show the other night, and so we're proud to announce that partnership with LSU's Bayou Traditions Collective to help raise awareness on how fans can help provide funds to NIL opportunities to selected LSU student athletes. All contributors support Bayou Traditions through the options will receive 4 TAF points per 1,000 contributed, and those points will count toward your lifetime and philanthropic point totals. Donating is as simple as visiting the link BayouTraditionsCollective.com, BayouTraditionsCollective.com, and then select the fund you would like to contribute to and entering your payment information. If you want to set up a recurring payment, simply select the pledge option and they will follow up with you to get that set up. Help the Tigers be great with the Bayou Traditions Collective.
Hey, I don't know if you remember this, but when the SEC picked up Oklahoma and Texas, they were coming into conference. right in this chair, I said to the LSU fans in Houston, Dallas, and all that, you're going to have to spend a little bit of money if you want a kid to go to LSU instead of A&M and Texas. And now it's coming to fruition. This is a grassroots campaign, and the Tiger fans are going to have to help out. Now, I got some people that say they get enough money and I'm not doing that. But if you seriously want to help LSU, you got to get involved. Glad you guys got the partnership.
Yeah, it's I mean, look, it makes sense that people start knowing the web address, how to give money. You know, like one of the ideas we talked about last week. I mean, have booths set up throughout the stadium. Make it so when you check out with your popcorn and your Diet Coke and your Skittles that you can hit the 10 or 20% button to NIL rather than a tip. I mean, some of that stuff is simple. You could raise many millions doing that. Ryan Stadler, well, Billy Napier has a freak 5-star quarterback that has saved his ass, and that goes into more question. Do you pay for an expensive staff or for crazy free athletes now?
Well, DJ Lagway has proven to be better than we thought, but there's been some other quarterbacks that have gotten the money that hadn't paid that. That's the thing that we're trying to impress. It's hit and miss. You don't know who's gonna bring it to the table and who's gonna be a bust. And so
that's why I want a running quarterback.
But I agree with you 100%. And I think they need to get in with a guy that's got the ability to hurt you with his feet.
So you can have a lot of holes like LSU's got, but if you've got a quarterback that can run, we saw it with Jaden Daniels. I mean, when you look back at how good those teams actually were, I mean, Jaden Daniels glossed over a lot of LSU's issues with what he did up and down the field. Of course, he had some great wide receivers that helped him too.
Got a great one coming up from Dunham, folks. He's in the state championship in the Dome this
we filmed him
weekend.
like 4 times this
Elijah
season.
Haven, I got to ask you, I don't want a percentage, but how do you feel like LSU is standing with him right now?
I think they're great.
Okay.
I think they're great.
Is he going to be one
Well, you can be great with everybody until the last minute.
Yeah. Okay. So, Elijah, people are going to be monitoring, but I've seen him on the interviews 3 or 4 times. Super classy kid.
He is a fantastic kid.
And the great thing I love about it, he's great, but he's got the humility. We wish all those local teams in the Dome.
The first time I went to Dunham a couple of years ago, I was like, okay, you know, a lot of times you get there and you haven't seen him in person. There's no doubt which one's him. He towers over the whole team. He was doing that as a 9th grader.
Can he run a little bit?
Yeah, he can run.
Okay.
He had 3 rushing touchdowns last week.
So there's your guy. That's what I'm saying. That's the guy that they need to be locking in, because Nuss has got 1 more year. After that, I mean, that would be great if they could get an early commitment from him.
Yep. No cojones, Kel. Mike, do you want me to DM you or pressing the Bayou Traditions logo with the website on it? Either one, or send it to both. Thanks. If you donate to the Bayou Traditions, is it a tax write-off? No, it's not. But you do get TAF points. That was the big deal that they had to get fixed, and I think that made it much more appetizing for people. People want those points so you can get the better seats, and that was a big deal that they got fixed last year. All right. What grade do you give the recruiting class after sitting on it a week? The high school class. You asked me earlier today.
I mean, you're talking about a letter grade?
Yeah. I mean, it's a class that finished 7th, 8th, or 9th in the country, depending on where you look.
Yeah. Look, Pickett's got to come in and play, and I like Andon coming in, so I like the 2 corners. I like what Bo Davis has brought in with the D tackles. I think you've got to somehow get a quarterback in there, so that's still a need. I asked you about Teron Francis. Is he going to be another great Louisiana wide receiver? We've got to wait to see. Offensive lineman, I like what they've done. I think the big kid from Arkansas is going to be a plug-and-play guy. So I think there's some good things. But as you alluded to and we've been talking about, the days of having 3 depth, when you put the tape in on 2019, LSU was 3 deep across the board at almost every position. Those days are over. So on the outside, just looking from it on the outside in, look to be a top 10 class, but depending on this portal, some of those guys may have to play earlier than we thought. And so I would say a B minus, a B plus, whatever, somewhere in that neighborhood. You said C plus. How many difference makers? I do think Pickett has a chance to come in.
I'll give you
here.
a B minus. I would C. I'll give you B minus. I mean, look, how do you rate a top 10 class in
Harlan Berry, folks? If they use Harlan Berry the right way, now you've got a guy that every week somebody's going to have to worry about him in space. It gets back to play calling and utilization of talent. They've got some difference makers, but I don't think that we know right now.
Colin Davis, men's basketball outlook with conference play coming. Losing Reed was a blow. How much does that change your outlook, losing him?
Well, it makes a big difference because they don't have the bigs that you need. But let me tell you what, they've got a couple of guards and then Bailey, who's coming in, and I think they're probably a big or 2 away. But look,
I think they're still going to be fun to watch.
Yeah,
I think they still have a chance.
Sears and Carter and those guys, but they could get hurt on the boards when you get in the SEC play. Oh, by the way, in case you didn't hear, Lady Tigers are now number 4 in the country. You talk to anybody with the game from Michaela in Shreveport? You talk to Chester? Anybody that went to that?
No.
But great.
She's on a tear though.
Great comeback win against Stanford.
That place was nuts.
And if you left early, Coach Mulkey has something to say to you.
Yeah. There's a big difference for the women. The SEC is looking really, really good right now. And
well, so is the men. The men beat.
Last year you had there was only 2 teams ranked in the top 25. Now you got 7. And so you got Texas and Oklahoma.
The ACC.
There's some really good games coming up in the PMAC with all these ranked teams. You get what's his name from Virginia Tech over Kentucky. Look at them now. Texas A&M's good. Alabama's good. Oklahoma, Texas, of course, South Carolina, on and on. So, Travis Wilburn, Pickett, Kernay, and Berry are instant difference makers, in my opinion.
Hey, that's the word.
I think JT Lindsey.
Yeah, JT Lindsey. So right there, that's what I'm saying. But Harlan Berry, I've asked you a couple of times.
You guys tell me in the chat who's winning, Alexandria or Card this weekend.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big game.
But I'm asking you about Harlan Berry. Now, you've seen this kid. You were the first one to film him. He's grown to about 188 or whatever. So let's say he gets to 190. I don't think he can make a living running between the tackles, but what is he going to bring to this LSU
I hope there's more than just end arounds and
swing passes and stuff.
I think you can do a lot with him in the passing game.
Yeah.
He's just got such great vision. And I know it's St. Martin's Episcopal. I don't care. Give him time, and you can do some really good stuff with him.
I think JT Lindsey has ended up being a sleeper. He is really balled out, and a lot of people are very happy. By the way, where did the kid Ford sign from Opelousas?
I did not see.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah. Well, LSU fans wanted him to come in as a linebacker, but they are loaded at linebacker. We said it last year, but with the Wicks, Zach Weeks coming in here, and Ross and all those guys, it's going to be interesting what Blake Baker does on the defensive end next year.
Brad David, Mike, is the show at 6 now and not 8? I think we're going to stick with 6. We like it. We get it done. I think we're going to stick at 6, and we've been getting bigger crowds at 6. So, Buddy likes it.
Yeah, I get foggy after, I'm leaving home in traffic and leaving out here. It's out 9:30. This works out for everybody, and you can watch it at any time if you have something going on at 6. So, hope everybody likes the change.
Yep. Linda Young says, Mike, you seem like you're mad. I'll tell you what, my dad used to say to me all the time, you look like you're mad. Like, man, I'm just sitting here. I'm not. I think I have resting mad face. I do admit to that.
Well, you're passionate about it, and you want to see the head coach deliver on what he has said. And quite frankly, folks, to spit it out, and I talked to a lot of people. You talked to a lot of people. This is a very important year for BK, but not only local perception, but national perception. And we just mentioned it. They're not going to finish in the top 25 this year, regardless of the bowl outcome. So now LSU, when he came over here, I think he did a great job in that first year, got to Atlanta that first year, exceeded expectations. But look, Will Campbell said it on that first weekend. 10-2 gets you fired around here. Now, I know he was being facetious a little bit, but the point of it is that BK got a dose of Baton Rouge catastrophe syndrome this year, and they better spend the money in the transfer portal and get some players in here. And there are 2 different time slots for that, because if they don't, every speaking engagement he has, people will be raising their hand and saying, why didn't you get more players and why didn't you spend more money in the transfer portal? It's just the reality of college football right now.
Michael Duyon with a super chat. Thank you. Goes, any news on Caleb Jackson going in the portal or sticking with the I'm not hearing anything either way. I'm sort of thinking he's staying.
Yeah, I am too. And
I think if he would have gotten in, he would have gotten in by now.
Yeah.
I mean, they start practice tomorrow.
And it's a great story, and we hope that
I'm glad he's staying.
One of these days, great kid. We hope that one of these days, all of the accolades that we've given Caleb on what we saw at practice comes to fruition. I got to get on Frank because I know Snake agrees with this, but this is what's so frustrating with me. He played 2 snaps against Arkansas. He had an 8-yard run and a 13-yard run. He looked like the Caleb Jackson we talked about. Didn't get another pop in that game. Okay. And so I do think this staff needs to do a better job of playing more backups. You asked me the question last week, are they throwing Pimpton a bone to keep him from going into the transfer portal? Well, these kids are smart. They probably wanted him to put on weight and be a blocking tight end. That's not his forte. Don't try to make Trey'Dez Green 260 and be a tight end. Use that talent and let's be honest. Caleb Jackson has got to come along and be smarter and more productive, but Frank didn't give him many reps this year.
All right, everybody. Stroube's. Get over to Stroube's, 107 3rd Street. Of course, Stroube's is a big part of TigerBait.com, and they pride themselves on providing a 5-star dining experience. Our buddy Tiger Shark and his group are going there Monday night. Got a big room together and a big group of 16 or 18 that are going there. And looking forward to hearing about their experience at Stroube's. Locally owned, ownership right there in the building, taking a high level of pride. Full menu, specialty meats, including Black Angus steaks, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. And for those looking for something outside of red meat, they offer the dry-aged pork chop, the black truffle lobster pasta, red fish, and much more. Book your reservation online tonight at Stroube's.com. And please, let them know TigerBait sent you in. That cowboy ribeye you see on the screen is to die for, and my absolute favorite. In fact, I took that photo. That was my plate that night. And
by the way, young lady that answers the phone is always going to give you an idea how crowded you are, a parking situation, and all that. They do a great job of answering all your questions. You will not forget that experience. Go see them.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Louisiana institution, Manda's, buddy.
Yeah, no doubt about it, folks. Look, we are the official smoked sausage of LSU Athletics. Been around a long time, since 1947. Louisiana owned, Louisiana proud, Louisiana spice. And I have to be honest with you. Mike is not mad. I did feed him a big old Manda hot sausage po' boy, and it does make you a little spicy. So when I'm spicy, he's spicy. Pick it up. A lot of you know about it. You've been having a great fun with it. And get that Manda ham for your Christmas table. You will not be disappointed.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, let's get some more comments here. And my buddy Bayou Prep about Ford and Opelousas. Opelousas running back didn't make the grade, he says.
Okay. That could have been man, he was a load to tackle, Mike.
Yep, and he had gotten bigger.
Hey, I like the running back room with Caleb Jackson, Harlan Berry, and JT Lindsey. Oh, by the way, isn't it nice, folks, to see Caden Durham? I'm going to make a prediction right now. Caden Durham, not 1, but 2 touchdowns, because Miles Frazier, don't ever fall on another lineman again, please. I know you're going bye-bye, but that kid would have had a lot more yardage had he not had those 2 dislocated toes. You got to feel like they've got to be healed by the time they play the game.
Yeah, or I'm wondering, does that require any fixing in the offseason? I haven't heard.
By the way, LSU playing 2:30 on New Year's Eve, which is 3 weeks from yesterday, 2:30 in the afternoon.
Carver's Dirt, Harlan Berry is going to be a star. I agree. And he's a super kid from a super family. And yeah.
I think Joe Sloan is salivating on the ways they're going to use him.
Kason Acock says, Mike, Buddy, AJ Swan look more like an ugly duckling. Do you think he's still number 2, or is it time for Hurley to get the nod?
Well, let's be honest. When you are called in and you haven't prepped, not that he didn't do the work, but the starters get 90% of the reps that way. So it was a spur of the moment situation. But
they got to go.
I think Hurley is going to be your number 2 going into, if they don't bring in a quarterback in the portal.
Do you think LSU fans will sit quiet if they don't get a quarterback in the portal?
Well, you've been talking about lack of depth and how hard it is. Look, Nuss is, in case you missed it, Nuss gave us the affirmative answer today that we were all looking for. But I don't know if they're going to freak or not. But once again, it's after Nuss, it's open. This job is open, which is why I was talking about Haven. I'd love to see them get an early commitment from him. But no, AJ Swan is not the answer. No disrespect to that young man. He lost 17 pounds between when he got here and when he played, but he's not good enough to be a starter at LSU.
Our buddy Fizz Buzz, one of our favorites, Andy Whitaker, going forward, I'm no longer treating these kids like kids. They are making 10 times what we make in some cases. They should receive professional level criticism. I've been saying that for several years. They're pros now. You no longer look, because you have the New Orleans Saints up the road. Most of the media in this area covers both the Saints and LSU. And it was typically the way you would talk about a New Orleans Saints player was different than the way you'd scrutinize an LSU player. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think you're free to say, someone literally stunk it up and so forth. I think those, look, you don't go and get real harsh, but no, you're absolutely right. They are absolutely professionals now. But there's ways to do it tactfully and to do it the right way. Bryce Baker, Todd Davis asks, I haven't heard anything. We'll see. Man, if you're Bryce Baker and you got Bill Belichick coming in, who's his OC going to be? Mm-hmm. I'm probably sticking. He's right there and from North Carolina.
Well, you said the key thing, though. He hadn't been offered by LSU right now. So,
well, he hadn't been offered as a week or so ago, but has that changed?
Yeah.
The portal wasn't open yet.
We'll see if he's coming in on the visit.
Yeah,
well,
he might have an offer now.
Yeah. He'll sign in first Wednesday in February.
Yep.
That's a true freshman.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest. Belichick has not been great at quarterback ever since Brady has gone. So we don't know. I have no idea what he's going to make, who'll be his OC or whatever. But
I haven't dug into it. I've been on the road all afternoon.
Yeah.
I missed Nussmeyer by 30 minutes trying to get here on time. All right. Alumni Hall, folks. Get over to Alumni Hall, your ultimate shopping destination, LSU fans. They got it all for you. The Nike gear, On Reserve, Johnny O, Peter Millar, and much more. They've got the quarter zip pullovers, the sweatshirts, the hoodies. Beautiful store in Perkins Row. You can shop there at alumnihall.com. Use the code TigerBait all one word, TigerBait, in store or online. You're going to get 10% off. A lot of people are using that. If you go to that beautiful store in Perkins Row, when you go to check out the register, say TigerBait, and you're going to get 10% off everything you buy. And look, it's apparel for the whole family, men's, women's, kids. All of it's officially licensed. And you're going to get free shipping on orders over $99. Alumni Hall, they're involved in the NIL space. You really want to, they're a great sponsor, and please patronize them for us. They're great people, and we love Alumni Hall here at tigerbait.com.
And do yourself a favor. Give yourself 20, 30, 40 minutes to browse in. You got plenty of options. Bring the kids in there. There's something for everybody. Great place to go get some Christmas shopping done. I'm a late shopper. You a procrastinator?
But I got a small list. It's easy.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, get on over there before Christmas. You won't be sorry.
Yep. And I got one more. And
what? We going another hour?
I got one more for you at Capital City Grill. And man, the food there is fantastic. Buddy's been there multiple times. They have great sandwiches, hamburgers, fantastic lunch spot, 100 Lafayette Street. Your ideal lunch and dinner stop for your casual dining experience. Everything priced at $30 or below for an affordable experience. And the greatest brunch in Baton Rouge from 11 to 2 on Sundays. They've got multiple dishes there. You got the Eggs Benedict there that you see on the screen, and their chicken and waffles. I'm telling you, I'm a regular brunch guy. The missus has me out at most Sundays at eating brunch. It is the best chicken and waffles in town. And it's absolutely fantastic. Capital City Grill. Head over there downtown.
Very consistent.
All right. Anything you want to add on the way out?
Look, folks, we're 2 weeks away from Christmas, and on this Wednesday, I'm thinking about the families of Coach Charles Baglio. I'm thinking about the families of Ed Daniels. All of you out there, make sure when you get spicy, we love sports, but take care of your family. And for those of you who have missing loved ones that have passed and aren't with you this holiday season for Thanksgiving or Christmas, we feel for you from the bottom of our heart. Hug those people you do have. And as always, there's nobody like you LSU fans. It truly is a unique fan base. And you know, LSU people, we get after each other. They eat their own. But all in all, it's a great country. And make sure you tell those people and take care of those people. But for those that are missing loved ones, we're praying for you. And as always, we appreciate you tuning in tonight.
Absolutely, everybody. We'll be back here next week. Hold on, one more. Travis Wilburn comes in late with a super chat. Thank you, Travis. With Nuss backup portal quarterback won't be a big name unless she's done to compete against Hurley in the future. My only worry about that, Travis, is I think you got away with that last year with Swan.
Yeah.
You purposely went in the portal and got someone that wasn't someone that was, wasn't anybody that Nuss, having not been a full-time starter, was looking over his shoulder about. You didn't go for a guy like that. I don't know that you can get away with that this year.
Well, you said it earlier, Mike. I think the recipe is go get a transfer quarterback in the portal that can run. Now, all of a sudden, you get inside the 20, inside the 10, inside the 5. You've got run-pass options, and that's one of the things that they need to add to the offense. They could do that.
Absolutely.
They could do that with a quick, good transfer portal quarterback that can use the legs. And I'm disappointed, quite frankly, they didn't explore that with Ricky Collins. I know he was green, but he should have had a couple of reps inside that red zone to put pressure on that edge.
I want a dynamic runner from now on. I don't want to see any more drop back quarterbacks with they're little athletic. They can get it, they can move pretty good, but they're not a threat. No more of that. You need true dual threat guys with, 4.4 speed and they can really make a defense pay when they've got to count for everybody. And look, I think next year the schedule's out, and with what the missing pieces are, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a tough season. I do. And the last thing that you need is for Nussmeier to go down early in the season. Knock on wood, that didn't happen. You need a viable backup so that the season doesn't really go to hell. Who that guy is going to be, I don't know, but you The problem is you had Underwood committed for so long. Many of the class of 2026 quarterbacks, it started to drop and commit. So now LSU can play the spoiler, right? They can go and do what Michigan did to them and go pick somebody else's pocket.
By the way, Tulane quarterback Mensa had a great year. He ended up going to Duke. And so the Underwood, kind of a residual impact with everybody. In case you missed it, Herb Street is not welcome in Columbus, Ohio anymore. His son, who was a 3-star quarterback, did you hear about this? Commits and signs with Michigan. So Herbie is not going to be getting any bouquets from Columbus, Ohio. Not that he has for the last 10 years, but listen, we know that they touch it every play unless it's a shotgun snap in a Wildcat. It's really important. And as always, Mike, we'll do it again next week.
534. Mike, what class is Jacob Hesser's son in? I understand what is he, 27 or I thought he was 27. I watched a little bit of his footage a while back, but I'll have to revisit that. It's early.
What positions he play?
Yeah,
he's still growing.
Yeah, I need to go back and look at him again. But there you go. All right, anything you want to add on the way out? You already did.
All right, good.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe, notification bell. Please do that for us. And thanks to all of you tuning in. Thanks for the super chats. And we'll be back here next week at 6 o'clock. I'm assuming Wednesday night. There's no conflicts next week. I don't think.
Next Wednesday night.
All right, everybody. Good night.